Hey everybody, this is Two Likeable Guys. I'm Steve, and this is the co-host, co-founder,
Josh.
and we come today to talk to you about your mother. No,
Don't you be talking about my mama.
don't talk about Josh's mama or my mama. No, but I want to tell you a little bit about my history real quick, and just real quick. I was a very successful door-to-door home security salesperson. I was the best at the company, and I'll tell you why I was the best. Because if they didn't answer the door, I left them a brochure on their kitchen table. Yeah, not so good, but I like it. So, what have you done to keep yourself busy this past week, Mr. Josh? Anything exciting?
Man, I worked and then I worked some more. And then I believe I worked some more.
Okay.
I did do a little riding around today. I went and saw some family.
Okay.
That was good. Kept the social distancing up.
But I had a little adventure this weekend, this past week. Well, coming up soon is my beloved son's first birthday. And we wanted to do something fun for him. I guess when you have a kid, you want him to have everything you didn't have when you were a kid. At least that's the way it seems to be working for me. And I was pretty blessed as a kid. I can't remember ever wanting for much. But we weren't rich by any means, but my parents evidently set good expectations for us when we were younger, which was a lot of fun. But I bought Luke, my little Luke, who will be 1 year old, and I bought him a remote control ride-on truck.
So when you say remote control, you mean it has a remote that you drive the thing for him?
Yes. It has, you can go forward, backwards, left, right. It steers, it moves it forward and backwards. And you can control it has two speeds, a low speed and a lower speed. It's not fast at all. That's one thing I did learn. But it does have two good motors that pull it really well through some decent terrain. Not big hills or anything, but through grass it'll go, and on gravels it'll go fine, and up small inclines it will go. But yeah, I can control it from up to 50 feet away, and it is a blast. It may be funner for me, but I think that's the way it's made to be. His legs aren't quite long enough to reach the pedals.
See, I kind of wondered about that.
Yeah,
because he looked like he was handling that thing pretty good in the video I saw.
Yes, you strap him in.
Just here you go, boy. Hang on for dear life.
Yeah, and he can hold on to the steering wheel or he can reach both tops of the doors on each side and brace himself a little bit. But we put him in that, and he didn't really know what to think at first, but we couldn't get him out of it until the battery died, and that took about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
It was impressive, and I had a lot of fun putting it together. It really wasn't as bad, but if you didn't have any mechanical experience, it would be a nightmare. You've got to put the steering together, you've got to put the rear axle together, you got to put the wheels on. But it's there's pretty good instructions, and it tells you how to do it. And so we got to play outside. The funnest thing to do with Luke in his remote control ride-on truck rather, is to chase people like his sister.
run, run over older sister.
Yes. And what's funny about that is that, when they're doing it, they're like, Luke, stop that. But where it's me controlling it the whole time. So I'm doing that. And so it was really fun. My folks were riding on some lawnmowers and um, make sure a lot of times they have to go to different places. So they weren't using their blades the whole time. So when they weren't using the blades on the mowers, I would ride Luke up beside him and he would wave and all. So that was a lot of fun. And we would come back and bring him back and we would just ride him around up and down the little hills. And then when we got tired of chasing Maddie, we would chase the dogs. And the dogs were hilarious. I mean, because the thing doesn't go. It's not like they're having to run full speed. I think the maximum speed on this thing is 3 miles per hour. So it's not like they're at a full sprint or anything. They'll just be wandering along and you'll come up behind them and they'll look back and they'll start trying to get out of the way. So you move whichever way they go. You keep going. Oh, it's so much fun though. So much fun.
Now, when you were a kid, the Power Wheels were just coming out when we were kids. Did you have a powered vehicle?
I never did. The funnest toys I had to ride when I was real young was this tractor, ride-on tractor, and it had pedals.
Pedal tractor. Oh yeah. Yep.
And it had a chain, and it had like a chain that went to a solid rear axle. But the thing about it is the chain always came off, and it was a hassle to get in there to put the chain back on because it was all covered.
Oh.
So, but I remember that thing, and that thing was dangerous. It had like a steering. The steering was the front tractor wheel, which was a single wheel under the front end, and it turned real sharp, real easy. So you'd be pedaling down through there, and you'd turn it a little bit and let go of the steering wheel, and it would turn sideways, and you'd go rolling off. But I think that's it was made, you know. But you had to learn something to be tough. It's hard. It's hard. I don't. I don't want my kid to grow up to be a wimp. I want him. I don't. He doesn't have to be, a burly, trucker or a motorcycle gang member or anything like that. But there's a fine line of teaching him to be tough enough and teaching him not to be a jerk. We'll stay on him for just another minute because we've got issues right now. He's got some issues with biting. Yeah, he likes to bite. He generally will only bite when he gets tired, though. But he has now ripped through skin. He can bite so hard. Yeah, he got my dad earlier today, actually. And my dad's usually real good at getting him to go to sleep and stuff, and he'll lay there. But if he's fighting it and he doesn't want to go to sleep, he'll put his head down on your arm, and before you know it, he's sunk his teeth into your skin. And then you jerk to move it away, and that's usually what causes the tear in the skin because he's clamping down and you're pulling away, and it's not real good.
Well, you know what you need to do, don't you?
Somebody suggested putting Tabasco sauce on my arms.
Well, yeah, you could do that. You could just tear that ass up.
Yeah,
I'll delete that.
I don't know.
That was just for us.
Yeah, I can't do that yet. I don't mind popping him on the butt, whenever he does something wrong. I don't mind that at all. That's the way.
Here comes the emails now.
Well, and I'm not talking about beating my kid. I'm
Nah.
just talking about a quick pop, and it's through a diaper, so it doesn't hurt. And it's the way I was raised, and it may not be the best way, but it worked for me. And I'm not out there beating people, and I'm
Yeah,
not a psychopath. And
yeah, you turned out
did
all
you get
right.
whippings? Did you get whippings
Oh,
when you were a kid?
we got spanked. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got spanked.
yeah.
Fly swat.
See, yeah, and we even got. I wouldn't do this to my kid, but I remember even having to go out and pick switches for to get go.
Switches. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
to go get beat with. I would never do that. So it's definitely morphed into something what I think is a little more tolerable. But a strong no is not working because that's what we've been doing for since this started probably a month, 2 months ago. A strong no and putting him away, it doesn't work. Putting him like over to the side to be with him, be with his thoughts doesn't help.
Time out
Um,
before
yeah,
before before 1 years old.
light timeouts, just not really, just to set him down and hopefully he'll think about what he's done for just a second. But when we get him right back up and
Do you overplay the hurt some? Like,
the
oh, it hurts. Oh, you hurt me.
not really. But
I've heard some people say that works.
I've screamed, because it hurts so bad, but not on purpose.
Not overplaying it, just doing it. Yeah.
Right. Did you have any of electric ride-on vehicles when you were a kid?
Yeah, we had a police motorcycle that was actually
Ooh,
a 3-wheeler.
okay.
It wasn't like the cool ones these days that are 2 wheels and they've got the little hidden little side wheels on them. This thing was trike, baby.
Right.
Yeah, we had one of those, and then we had a pedal car also. It was a like an Indy car.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was all plastic shell, everything, and when we got too big for it, it got shoved up under the basement or in the crawl space under the house,
Right.
And then as we got older, we found that sucker, and we're like, it's got plastic wheels on it. We live in a hilly neighborhood.
Right.
So we got
So did you get it?
got that sucker out. Of course, we couldn't put our legs down in the cockpit where the pedals were.
Of course not. Yeah.
So put our legs out on the hood of it. That had the front fins, kind of nice little footrest there, and put our skateboard helmet on and
You did wear a helmet.
rode that. Oh yeah, it was a good thing too because we ended up in a couple of cobblestone ditches and
Nice.
slam the head against the rocks and
Yeah.
go down there and banker hard left or hard right and spin that sucker around a couple times going down the hill, and then all of a sudden you're going backwards into a ditch.
Talk about speaking of something similar to that. I've wanted one of these adult drift trikes.
The big wheel looking thing with an engine
Yeah,
on it?
they're like a big wheel with a motor, and they've got I think they put PVC pipe for the tires on top of the tires to make it slick and slide, and so it gets just like a little bit of traction, but then you can slide around and.
Oh, I thought they just used like go-kart slicks or something on them.
I believe they use go-kart slicks, and then on top of that, they'll air it up into a PVC type material where it's like a hard plastic.
Yeah.
So it takes all the fun to get it going and then start drifting and spinning out and pretty low to the ground. But they're ridiculously overpriced, and
Well,
I don't have to.
They have adult big wheel races down
Really?
at, downtown at Main Times 24. And it seems like I never have a chance to get down there to that, but I've always wanted to go at least watch, if not be in it.
Yeah, and this weekend I was up at the parents' house in Swanee, and we were playing outside and got to thinking about all the games we used to play when we were kids, and tried to play a few with the stepdaughter while we had Luke riding around in his car. But we built a little fire, and she just really wanted to play with the fire and roast marshmallows and make s'mores. And
Fire.
yeah, uh-huh. Which was it was nice. You get a lot of ash, and you smell like a campfire after you walk away from it. So, but it was fun. One of the things that I remember playing when we were a kid is totally, totally not PC anymore.
Cowboys and Indians.
Well, God, that I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that
What are you thinking?
we played Smear and it rhymes with smear.
Oh no.
But and when we played it, I didn't even think anything else about it. I thought, it was just something fun. But now we would have to call it get the guy with the ball.
You can't even say guy now.
And you touch the genderless individual.
Touch the being with the ball.
But it was so much fun. I mean, you get out there and you just tackle the snot out of people. You would just get out, and whoever had the ball, and then, the wimpier guys just gave up the ball or whatever, and so they wouldn't get tackled. Like, oh, you take it, and so then you take off running, and I don't know. I think we had places, like end zone type areas that you would get, but you would just whoever had the ball tried to go from one end to the other, and there was no teams. It was each man for himself, and it was called Smear the Person.
You can go ahead and say it. Everybody knows what it was called. It's called Smear the.
Thank you. Yeah.
I know. We may get some hate mail on that, but that's that's what it was back in the day, back before everything got PC.
I'm not calling anybody that. I'm just saying that was the name of the game.
That's right.
We did that. Did you play any fun games like that outside when you were a kid? Do you remember anything special, anything in particular?
No, they kept me in a locked closet. I didn't get to play outside much.
Unless you're riding a pedal IndyCar down the road.
That was after I got old enough to pick the lock to get out of the closet.
There you go. Well, that explains a lot.
That explains a lot, yeah. Sorry, what was the question again?
Any games that you played as a kid after you got unlocked from the closet? Do you remember?
Just we used to have huge football games by all the neighborhood kids.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't a good game until someone got hurt.
Oh no. That's the truth. I can remember a time when we had a little pickup game of ball. We had gotten a little bit older, and so my brother could drive. I probably couldn't drive at this point, but he could drive. So we went down to a park in North Chattanooga, kind of right there behind near Las Margaritas, but towards the river.
Riverview Park, I believe is the name of that. Yeah.
Okay, and there's just a nice big field there, and we were out playing, and we always played against one of my brother's friends, and him and I were always on opposite teams, and I liked him, okay, but he was the smartest guy in the room.
Your brother?
No,
oh.
My brother's friend. My brother's friend.
Like, I played against him, always on opposite teams. I kind of liked him.
No, this was my brother's friend I speak of. And I saw him over there plotting something. And evidently what they were plotting was saying, look, they were saying they noticed when I personally have the ball, I'm evidently holding it precariously and don't really pay attention. So they said their plan was just to come up and grab it from me and take off. And they did. And oh, it made me so mad. So we were playing two-hand touch. So the next play, he got the ball, and all I was doing was just going to tackle him. So I took off, and he was pretty smart though. He was pretty crafty, and he kind of got out of the way. I mean, I got him down to the ground, but
you didn't get that hit on him like you wanted, right?
no. And then I was kind of like, screw this, we're going home. These teams aren't fair.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yes, thank you, Cartman. That was a very good Cartman, by the way.
I don't think it'll play back good.
It was
probably,
good. It
probably sounded all right live, but once we hear the playback, I don't know.
I bet it'll be fine. But that was just. I remember being so mad. But that's what made it fun. You get mad, you get competitive, you want to win, you want to. We played that. Then, of course, we played baseball in the backyard. And then we played.
Oh yeah, wiffle ball, man.
Wiffle ball. Yes.
I lived a couple of houses up from Shay Massengale. We went to high school with him.
Okay.
And we had us a nice little wiffle ball field plotted out down in the bottom of his backyard. Nice. It was some good times down there. We had that down there in his yard, and then on the corner there, he lived next door to a guy named Matt, and Matt had a nice area right there to play football in. Nice level lot, and it was good times, man. Good times doing that.
Was that the neighborhood? I'm going to throw out a name here. Justin Welch?
No.
Okay.
That's actually where we live now.
Okay.
But no, this was over in Manchester Park. And,
okay. Nice.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. A bunch of kids in the neighborhood. We'd all get together
and this is kind of like things that kids don't do now that we did when we were kids. Man, when I was little, the thing was I would ride my bicycle everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I would ride it everywhere. And not with permission, of course, because there were times like one time I was caught. If I stayed on the same side of Dayton Boulevard as my house, that was usually pretty acceptable. And the folks didn't like me going past say Ashland Terrace because it was kind of tough to cross, for a youngster. Seems like there's too much traffic there. And then they definitely didn't want me to go across the street and cross over Morrison Springs Road.
Right.
But one day I had a friend that lived over there, and so I went over to see him. And sure enough, one of my mom's friends spotted me and said, "I saw your son over there riding through traffic on Morrison Springs."
I saw Steven. He was out there recklessly driving through traffic.
Yeah, he was probably riding a wheelie and giving people, the business.
Oh, goodness, not the business.
Yeah.
Not the business. Now, was that back when Morrison Springs was it 2-lane before they did all the work over there?
Yes, there were houses right there.
With the big hill?
There was still a big hill and still houses right there on the corner.
Right.
And I think the Jam Up Cycle was right there below it. I believe that's what that was then. I believe there was a motorcycle shop, and I mean, that was a few days ago.
Yeah, it was.
Like 30, 40 years ago.
Well, I too did my fair share of bicycle riding, and I actually rode the Middle Valley before.
That's nice.
From Manchester Park. And,
it's
quite a haul.
It's good.
And actually pushed a bicycle across the Thrasher Bridge.
Wow.
Which is of course, over Chickamauga Dam.
Right.
Yeah, that was stupid.
How in the world?
It was stupid, man. Right there on the little what I don't even know if you would consider it the emergency lane.
Yeah, there's not much of a lane there.
Yeah, wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't recommend
Well, that's good. Glad you survived that.
it. Yeah.
The longest I can remember riding is there was a place called the Gullies, and and it was over off. I want to say I don't know the name of the road anymore. I can't even think of it. If you go out Hamel Road and you go out almost to the foot of the ridge and you turn left, there's a road that goes from there all the way to Hickson Pike.
Cassandra Smith.
Cassandra Smith.
Yep.
We were off Cassandra Smith Road, closer to Hickson Pike than we were Hamel Road, and there were these dirt rolling hills that people had rode their bicycles on and drove by there here a few years ago, and it's nothing but houses there now. But they were awesome to ride on. Like, 'cause you would have enough speed going down one to go up the next and even jump it, and it just went on for like, I don't know, football field long of these rolling hills. But I got over there, and looking back now, I think I remember the way we went, and we ended up crossing 153, which it's a little different now than it was then. But riding a bicycle across 153 is nerve wracking,
Yeah.
any way you look at it. And I look back and think of how stupid that probably was. Because I mean, I don't know how many miles that is from my house, but it was a few. But that was a lot of fun. We were into BMX. Me and my brother both. That was one of the things we did as sports when we were younger. Is we rode BMX and raced. There were a couple tracks in Chattanooga, and it was a huge sport when we got into it. I mean, it was probably the early 80s, and it was just the first race we went to. I remember we went out to East Ridge, Camp Jordan Park, had
Oh
a
yeah. Yep.
BMX track, and the crowd was massive. I can't even tell you how many, but there were so many people that in my beginner class, only 8 people can go off the gate at a time in a BMX race. And you got the little dirt jumps and berms and whatnot. And there was happened to be 9 in my class. So the way that worked is you had 2 motos, and then the top 8. Well, one moto had 4 people in it, and one had 5. So the moto with 4, we all made it to the main event. The one with 5, one person wasn't going to make it. So luckily, I got put in the gate that only had the moto that only had 4 people because I was not that good. I really tried hard, but for some reason, my wheel slipped. I would pedal and it wouldn't go anywhere, and so I was just pedaling along, and it would like work for a little while, and then it stopped working,
Oh, you had
and then
a
it would catch, and then it would, it was good enough where I made it around the track and finished, but I finished dead last every time.
little
Uh,
mechanical malfunction there, huh?
yeah, so luckily, but I remember going home. Seems like I've told this story, but I remember being so happy about that trophy I won, because the top 8 got trophies. I mean, no, 8th place trophy was all it was a little marble base and the BMX rider. There was no like lift, nothing raising it up to make it a tall trophy. It was a tiny, tiny trophy. I mean, literally, it was just the base and the little bicycle rider on top of it. Whereas the first place trophy was probably 3 foot tall, and
Right.
it had all the risers, and it went from down to mine. But I remember riding home in the car on the way home. I was holding my trophy up at the passenger window and looking at people and smiling and going, like, pointing at my trophy, like, look what I won. And it was just the tiniest thing. I remember people waving and stuff, and I was just so happy. I was just like, this is the best thing ever. So, but evidently I was a little better than that, because the next race, the second race I went to, I came in third when we got the bicycle fixed. So
Did you race at Montague Park also?
yes, that was where I came in third. That was the next race we went to.
Yeah. My Uncle Robin did that.
Really?
Yeah, he was a BMXer. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was, and they still do it now, and it's even an Olympic sport. I have one of my high school buddies, their son, they live near Atlanta, and they still have active tracks near Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
And they had him, he was racing this past summer. And I was so proud of him. Don't know him, never met the kid.
Whose boy?
Is Cindy, the mom's name is Cindy Moore, and I can't think of her that was her maiden name.
That's who you went to school with.
Yes.
I got you.
And the kid, I don't even know his name, but they were showing pictures of him racing at these different tracks and coming home with these like really nice trophies or plaques, whatever they're giving away now. But
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was glad to see somebody carrying the tradition that I knew of, at least. Fun stuff. Any other fun games and stuff you played? Did you? Well, I played Little League too. Did you play Little League, all that stuff?
Yeah. We did. We played. We're a baseball family. We played down at DuPont Rivermont Park.
Okay.
Did that from like 6 years old to 12 years old. When I turned 13, it was, hey, you want to play baseball or you want to skateboard and go after girls? And I was like, I want to skateboard and go after girls. Never was good at either. It never was good at any of them. Baseball, going after girls, skateboarding.
Yeah, but looking back now, are you glad you had those experiences?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm still friends with people I played baseball with.
Right.
Grew up playing baseball with.
Yeah, it was pretty much a miracle that and I agree with you. You form some bonds in that competition that can't really be beat. Certain ways. I remember. I remember my first. Speaking of DuPont Rivermont, is there a Joe Roby Field?
Joe Roby Field, yes, sir.
That is the home of the first of, I think, a total of 4 home runs I hit before I quit playing baseball in like a league form. But that was a pretty good story that I'll go over it real quick. I won't dwell on it. But we were sitting there, and we didn't play. My team always played at Red Bank Dixie Youth, over by the high school, those fields. And we played. But for some reason, we had an invitation to come over and play a team on the Joe Roby Field. And
wait a minute. No, it was John Roby.
John Roby,
I believe.
It's not Joe Rogan.
Not Joe Rogan. No.
But it's Roby.
John Roby Field, I believe.
Yes.
You would think I'd know, playing down there all those years.
Yeah.
But, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. And we went. It was so great. My folks were out in the stands, and I got up to bat, and this pitcher was up, and they said he was a great pitcher and everything, and he pitched really hard, but I almost caught up to it, and the hit a ball, and it went about 4 or 5 feet foul over the home run fence. And I hear my dad yell, "Straighten it up a little bit. That'd have been a home run." I'm like, "Well, okay, thank you." Uh, and I was like, "Hey, he's right. That's pretty exciting stuff." Sure enough, next pitch, same place. I got on it a hint sooner, and it was 4 or 5 feet fair over the fence, and nobody can believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was a super nerd. I was wearing my glasses with my batting helmet. I was a skinny little fella.
Did you have tape on the glasses?
No,
Oh, man.
just windshield wipers. No, I didn't have windshield wipers either, but I always wanted them. Hit the home run, came home, and everybody, how they all, high five you and stuff. And then I went to hit, that season, I hit, 3 or 4 more home runs that year because I knew I could do it. It was kind of crazy. That was kind of like when that opened up. I was not a great ball player. I was average, a good average at best. But that was a lot of fun. Hitting home runs, playing ball. I'm hoping, bring this back around full circle. I'm hoping to bring my kid, if he wants to play sports, I'm going to encourage it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hope to teach him some of the outdoor world and maybe not to play video games all day, although if you do and you can make money at it and have fun with it, then more power to you.
Well, league baseball, as we know it, as we remember it, is not the same.
How so? How is it? Do you know any of the way it's different now? I know we've had a mutual friend's kid play ball, and it looks similar, but
it looks similar on the outside.
It did. It looked on the outside.
I just remember going to a game for another one of our friends' kids, and I was like, who's winning? Oh, we don't keep score.
Yeah. That's
I was like, how do you know who wins? Oh, we're all winners.
No.
Okay. Kind of defeats the purpose if you're not teaching them how to play the game right.
In life, there are winners and there are losers.
Nobody strikes out. Everybody gets to run the bases and make it home.
Well, I can see that to, maybe 4 or 5 years old, maybe 6. I can understand that.
6 is a stretch for me. 7, that's way past.
You need to be keeping score. You need to be teaching that kid. If you're just teaching them the basics, I can understand that.
And it's not, I kid. It's not like that everywhere. But when I rolled up and I was told that was, we don't keep score. I'm like, how do you know who wins?
Right.
But.
And why do you not keep score? You try not to hurt people's feelings,
exactly.
I guess.
You might hurt some little pudding's feelings.
But, that was the thing. If I wasn't that good, I had something inside me that told me that I needed to get better, so I would practice more. And that was used as motivation. Well, you remember when y'all were out there and your team didn't score much and you weren't helping out too much. I was, yeah, you're right. I need to practice more. I need to get better.
Hey, you remember when you went out there and y'all sucked?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You need to get better.
I was lucky. I know how they, when we were playing ball, I remember that the coaches would pick the players. It wasn't a complete random draw. They would, if a parent was coaching, he got to pick, at least his kid and then some of his kids' friends. I don't know why or how that worked, but that was just the way it was. And I remember one year I got picked on a good person's team, and then the next year I got picked, and I was about the best part of the team, and that wasn't a very good team. So, but I did play one year with the. We won our championship um, that year, and it was pretty amazing and stuff. And then the next year, um, they said I was a candidate for All Stars, but they had somebody else that wanted to play, and so they told my parents, "Well, we'll just let him play next year." And that happened to be the last year I played, so I was never an All Star.
Well, I never was either, except my dad was a coach on the All-Star team, and I
Oh,
got
there
to
you
be
go.
I got to be an alternate.
Oh, there you go. Did you get to play?
I like played for 1 or 2 innings a game, just because they had to put the subs in
Do you remember what position you played?
on the All-Star team.
No, on just in general when you were playing.
I
Did you play?
I played first and third a lot from
Yeah.
what I remember. They put me in once to pitch,
Oh
and
no.
that was a joke. I was throwing junk the whole time and striking people out because they couldn't. I wasn't throwing real pitches, so they're all ready to get some hits and stuff. And here I
Right.
am up there throwing junk and laughing.
Yeah.
Played outfield. I caught a lot.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll give it to you this way. On the really good team I was on, I played left field. Um, and they really taught me a lot about catching fly balls and pop up. So I was pretty good at that. I felt real confident about that because the guy that taught me was just really good. And he taught you like put your hand up, put your glove up above your head, and you see when that ball starts coming down, and you figure out where it's going to be, and you let that ball hit you right between the eyes. He said, of course, it's not gonna because your glove's going to be above your head. And but he was really good. And we always called him Skinner. I don't know. I don't know his real name, but we called him Skinner. I don't know. And I had an experience pitching. I never forget this. This was one of my friends. We needed a pitcher, and the coach came out there and was like, "Hey, we need a pitcher.
wait.
This guy's
You need a pitcher,
a pitcher,
not a belly itcher.
not a belly itcher."
I got you. Okay.
Said our
Hey,
pitcher.
there's my badunch.
Yeah, it was good though. There, my but they're like, I still, weird things you still feel guilty about years later. And I had been talking to one of my friends. He was the catcher, and I said, "Man, before the game, I said, hey, I've been practicing pitching in the backyard and stuff, and I think I'm getting a little bit better." He's like, "Cool." So about the middle of the game comes around. Our pitcher's worn out. Our pitcher's tired. Another pitcher didn't show up, so we were short a pitcher, and said, "Hey, we need to get somebody to get through this inning." And stuff. And so the catcher says, "Hey, Steven said he's been practicing. Let him try it." I was like, he looked at me and said, "You think you can do this?" I was like, "Yeah, you can do this." And so I get up on the mound. I'll never forget. I was doing my warm up pitches, and I don't know if you know him. I'm going to call him out for what it was. It was a long time ago. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But a guy named Quentin Skiles was on the team we were playing.
Quentin. Yeah.
And do you know him?
I
No.
remember him. I don't. We never hung out or anything, but I
Right.
remember him from school, and he actually, I think he coached my little sister up at Middle Valley when she was playing ball.
Probably. I mean, he was pretty good. He was. So I got up in my first warm up pitch. He was watching me, and I was uh, facing his dugout, and so I throw the ball, and he just goes bah ha 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 out loud. I mean, okay, now my confidence is completely shaken. I was nervous to begin with, but now I have no confidence whatsoever. So I was like, all right, so here we go. And so I kept warming up, and I was like, all right. And they said, play ball. And so I'd throw it and I'd miss. I'd throw it and I'd miss. And I'd throw it and I'd miss. So I finally, there's like, hey, just throw strikes. Just throw them in there. You've got a good team behind you. So I was like, all right. So I get in there and I throw a strike right down the middle. This dude, I've never seen this before. This was like the rookie league we were in. Guy gets up and he jacks it over the fence. First time I ever saw a home run in that park was a pitch I threw. And I was like, oh, this is terrible. And so I keep throwing, and then one of the things like, hey, just throw it easy, just get it over the plate. So I lobbed one in there. I mean, my dad remembers, he told me about it. He said it looked like it went up in the air 10, 15 feet and came down right through the strike zone.
You do it.
And the catcher caught it, and the batter looked at it and just watched it. And the umpire goes, strike! They said I'd never seen anything so ridiculous in their life.
So you throwing some slow pitch softball.
Yeah,
stuff.
it went up in the air and came back down. But finally, the coach had enough and felt like I'd been tormented enough, and so I was going off the field, and my brother had a camera, and so I was like pretty upset, probably crying about not being a good pitcher and just sucking and like losing the game and everything. And so I was probably crying walking off, and there's pictures. There's a picture of me with my head down walking over the dugout, and my brother was like, "Hey, look here, I'm taking pictures of it." I was like, "Why on earth would you take a picture of that?"
So you throw it up in your face later down the road.
Yeah. And I asked him about it years later, and he swears he doesn't remember anything about it.
Now,
Like,
yeah. He wouldn't do anything to you like that, would he?
Then he would. And that's another good thing, sibling rivalries. Well, but I remember there was a time, my brother was older. He would always pick on me and stuff. And everybody told me, one day it's going to all change. And one day I'd had enough, and I had gotten a little bit bigger, and I was a little bit bigger than he was, and a little bit stronger. And so he was saying something, and I was like, I just clicked. I didn't have to put up with it anymore. Back when he was talking on the phone, so I picked him up and the phone, and the phone cord was real long, one of those long, curly, stretchy cords. I take him and I throw him out the front door and said, "You sit there until you calm down." And he never did pick on me much anymore. That was the day it all turned. Best days ever.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. It's been pretty nice reminiscing about games and playing ball and little games smearing the people that we played and tackling and
smearing the beans.
The beans?
The beings.
Yes, smearing the being. Smearing the personages. Yes. Good stuff, though. Fun times. Yeah, send us your memories. If you've got any memories of games you played as a kid that were fun that we may be forgetting or missing out on, send us a note. Send us an email. TwoLikeableGuys@gmail.com. TwoLikeableGuys@gmail.com. You can visit our Instagram page, and you can visit our website, TwoLikeableGuys.com. That's it. TwoLikeableGuys.com. Simple enough. Just spell it out and go there. We appreciate you guys listening today. Do you have anything you wanted to add, Mr. Josh?
I think we covered everything today, brother.
Well, I appreciate you, sir, and I hope you have a good time, whatever part of the day or week it is, wherever you are. We appreciate you listening, and we're Two Likeable Guys, and we like you, and we hope you like us too.
Later.